Well, good evening. This is Gina Tudela. I live here in Poulsbo, Washington. And tonight I'm going to show you the notes and totes. And it looks like that my camera is not working. It was working earlier. Let me fix something. Oh my goodness. Okay. Sources. Properties. Oh my goodness. Project. Properties. Okay. And go back. Wrong one. Oh no. There we go. And of course I'm frozen at the top. Let's go fix this. It was all working earlier. Okay. But I am frozen. Okay. Let's do this. It's still not doing the wrong one. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's the wrong one. Let's go fix that. That's right. And I'm still frozen at the top. Let's do me. Hopefully it doesn't freeze me down bottom. It's still doing the same one. Why is that? Okay, that's right. So let's fix that. No. Oh my goodness. Let's go to Gina. Let's do me first. Okay. Oh my gosh, y'all. And it should be that one. That's correct. Well, I guess you're just not going to see me. You see my side view. That is not working. And go to project. Properties. It still keeps doing the same one. Why is that? Okay. I just won't have me on there. You'll have my side view and you can hear me talking. Anyways, I'm doing notes and totes. So, hello, B. Let me scroll down. Hello, Linda. Thank y'all for joining me, but I'm frozen at the top corner. I don't know what happened. It was both working when I went to go cut. So I'm using the Notes and Totes tonight, the stamp set. This is one of the new ones that's in the catalog, and it does have a die set that has bags and stuff. So I'll have to show that another time frame. So tonight I'm just going to focus on the stamp set and using the new end colors. So, and this is going to be sample number 1, and the other 2 I'm doing as we go. And I'll be also using the new end colors. Now, they had a problem with the light colored one. So you can order the ink pad, but they were having issues. It just does not like the foam pad. Now if I can get this open. So, and it's like a lighter, it's like a little bit darker of the old soft sky. This is called Cloud Cover. But you can order the spots and the re-inker, and therefore you'll be able to make a spot pad. And that's what I did instead of ordering the ink pad and it being darker than the paper and stuff. So we'll be using these tonight. We're also going to be using a Versamark pad, and that's how I created the first card. And then I brought in the Darling Duckling and the Secret C. Secret C is like a black night of navy. So, anyways, so let's get started, and I'll give you the measurements for this, and of course, the Versamark pad. And so this is just a horizontal open card, and that's how I'm going to do all three tonight. So first off, you need a piece of thick white cut at 4 1/4 by 11. And we'll go ahead and fold this in. Oh, that's the wrong one. Wrong one. Where's my supplies for that one? Oh my goodness. Did I not bring it in? Oh yeah, I did. It's covered up by the other one. There it is. When you're working with a small workspace, that's what happens. Okay, and I'll move my dimensionals out of the way. So there's that piece. You're going to fold this in half. And if you have a bone folder, press in the center, and then you can go up and down with your bone folder. I'll bring it in. I like to show my fingers at the same time, because that way somebody may not have a bone folder yet, or new crafters. So that is done for right now. So we're going to move that out of the way. Then you're going to have a piece that's a 4 by 5 1/4, and this is just plain basic white cardstock. And then these are 2 by 2 and a 2. It's 1 notch past 2 1/2. So it's really 2 9/16. I don't like to do that, but this is how it fits on here. So I cut one of each one of the colors, and I don't know the colors all by heart, but this is Darling Duckling. This is Timid Tiger. This is a returning in color that we had a long time ago, Strawberry Slush. And then this is Secret C. Now, what happened to my blue one? There should be another one. Oh my gosh. Did I lose it on the trail? I know I didn't. Honey, check in the bathroom and see if I lost one of these. It's this color. Oh no, it was stuck to the dimensionals. Never mind. There it is. Cloud cover. So these are 2 inches by 2 9/16. And you want one of each of the colors is what I did. And it doesn't have to be the end colors. You could do 4 colors that go together. Okay. And then we had a piece of the basic white. And this is a 2 1/2 by 2 3/4. And Secret C is 2 3/4 by 3. Okay, get that part out of the way, the measurements. Now, before we mount them onto that, I have that for a reason, because it's easier to do it. We're going to go ahead and stamp the background of these on this grid paper. And I'm turning them vertical because the image is the flowers, and you really can't see it, but let me show you on this. It's this flower here, okay? That's what we're stamping and creating a background. And what Versamark does, it becomes the color of the paper. So stamp in the center, and it's sticky, so you want to hold the paper when you remove it. And then we're going to stamp one at the top and one at the bottom. Well, top and bottom. So you want to do the center. We're going to do this to all 4 of them. And in a moment, you're going to see that it's come to life. You can't see it real good right now, but you will be able to see it in a moment. See this one? It's already showing up on the paper. It's like a watermark. And I'm doing the cloud cover right now. And now the timid tiger. And whenever you buy a Versamark pad, be sure to buy the re-inker with it. I recommend that to all the people that craft with me, because you don't want to have your pad get dry and then you can't. And then when you're ready to use it again, it's not there. But so that's what we're going to have the print of. So while those are still setting, we're going to close up this Versamark pad for right now. And then we're going to stamp with the Darling Duckling the flowers. So when you get a new ink pad, it has the labels on the back, and then you peel off this corner, and then you put the label here, and then y'all saw where I had the blank label that has no writing on it on the inside here. We don't have to prime this because we've already used it with the Versamark. So I'm going to stamp this at the top, count to 5, and then release. And I'll have to clean that off when we get ready to do the next one. Now I'm going to bring in the Secret C. And the new pads, you just open them up and pull forward. Let me close this one up for right now. We're done with it. And we're going to use this one. It says, sending you warm wishes. So I need to prime this. Very nice. Whenever you ink up on the ink pads, do not press hard. Just tap it a couple of times. There we go. And then when you close it, you just pull towards you and then close it. Okay, so while that's setting, we'll go ahead and do the mounting of these. I'm going to get my handy dandy Tombow multi-purpose glue. Oops, move that out of the way. And then we're just going to add a little bit of glue. And I made this a 4 by 5 1/4. And the reason for that is so that way we had a guide. So just line it up with the edge of your white paper. And the easiest way of doing this is line up one corner, line up your bottom corner, you don't have to worry about the center because your saying is going to cover that. Mainly worry about these corners. There's that one. Now we're going to do this one. It's like doing a puzzle. Okay, I need to move this one over just a touch. I had it on top of it. Didn't want to do that. And then I just turn it over and I rub real good. Now you're ready to mount it to the card base. I'm going to use dimensionals on the saying. You could use dimensionals on this, but then you probably wouldn't do it on the saying. But I want the focus to be on the saying. This is just mainly a background. And if you have any edge of white showing, it's not going to matter because you're putting it on a white base. It would matter if you're putting it on a color base. Now this has had time to dry. So we'll go ahead and mount this to the Secret C. There we go. And whenever you're not using your glue, lay it sideways and put your lid back on it. There we go. Now I'll bring in some dimensionals. I'm going to use these outside side pieces that we had left over from class today. The ladies got to do the waterfall card and they got to do this card. And then I did one of the paper pumpkin cards from December I had. They got to choose out whether they wanted the rose or the fern or the blackberries. There we go. And when it's this big, I usually put 5. Always one in the center. And then you just indent. And these peel right up. And then we're going to add some rhinestones. I didn't order the jewels for the end colors yet. I have a budget just like everybody else, so I order a little bit each time I get my commission each month. There we go. And we're going to bring in these beautiful rhinestone basic jewels. And you can use scissors to pick them up, or you can use the take your pick tool, which is this tool here. So I'm going to put one here. I'm going to use a medium size. It comes in 3 sizes, large, medium, and small, on the eye of sending. And then I'm going to bring in 2 more of the smalls. Oops, that one didn't get right centered into the flower. These are self-adhesive. Actually, let me do that one. Because see, that one's right there. Okay, I'll move that out of the way. So there is that card. Very simple, basic, and it shows all of the 5 end colors. Darling Duckling, Timid Tiger, Strawberry Slush, Cloud Cover, and Secret Sea. As long as I say these over and over, I'll have them down pat. So, on our second card, a lot of people will be taking vacations and trips and stuff. And so I thought I'd do something fun with that. So, let me give you the measurements for this one. This is another one, 4 1/4 by 11. This is our card base. This is thick white cardstock. If you're doing any layering, you want to use a thick white or a colored cardstock base to hold the weight. And we're going to use the sun. Where's the sun? I had it. There it is. And we're just going to stamp. Let me flip this over. We only want to stamp the sun at the top. So I'm going to do a pattern without re-inking it. Go in between. And over here I got to stamp off to do one there and stamp off to do one over here. So that way it looks balanced. Okay? And I flipped this over because I didn't want that to accidentally get stamped on. Sometimes you just drop the pad. Now, I haven't opened my Timid Tiger yet. So, I'm just going to use the Versamark. So, this one's going to have a pattern of the flowers. but I got to clean it off. So let me tell you what, this tool, here it is, my simple chamois, is wonderful. You wet it and you reuse it over and over. And it cleans your stamp clean, as you just saw. It was stuck. All right, so I'm going to use a Versamark because you don't want to, and this is a brand new one. I treated myself to a new one because I haven't had a new one in a long time. And we're just going to make a background on here. Let's see, I smudged up that corner. And we're just going to go straight across. Tap, tap, stamp. And this just makes a pattern on the paper. This is what we used to do before we had designer paper. We made our own background paper. Okay, so we're done with that. And I'll move that out of the way. Now, this is coming in. You can see the flowers coming through. Now, this one can go right on here. So we can go ahead and mount that to the Darling Duckling. And I gotta give you the measurement of this one. I forgot to do that. So, this is measured at 2 1/4 by 5. I think it's 5 1/4. I need to bring this down a little bit. It may not be the right. Yeah, it is. Okay, I think it's 5 1/4. It is. So it is 2 1/4 by 5 1/4 of the Timid Tiger, or whatever color you want to use. Okay, so there's that. Then we can mount this to our card base. Now I'm doing this straight. Some people may want a kitty wampus. If you do want to do a kitty wampus, you got to make your paper a little bit smaller, so that way you can show some shifting. So let me move that little out of my way. Okay, so on this one, we are going to, it's vertical. I had to think how that was going to go. Okay, I brought in, where is it? This one. The Aloha flower. So it's, and the saying is, you earned it. Right? So it could be to a tropical island, or it could be Hawaii. So we're going to go ahead and stamp the saying. And I want to know how much room I need for my flower. So I'm going to do this. Now, without re-inking it, I'm going to stamp right below it. I'm going to huff on it again. We can't do this when we're in class, so I'd probably grab another light color. But see, you earned it. And it's in repetition. Now, we're going to use the markers to highlight the flower. So, I want to use the strawberry slush for the flower. But I need to do the little stamen first. So you just go right on the stamp. And we're going to have to do this twice because it hasn't been primed. And there is no greens in the new in colors. So what I'm going to do is bring in a color from the new core colors, which is I'm going to use this one, Luscious Lime. Lemon lime twist. I always say the wrong name. Okay, lemon lime twist. And then I'm just going to highlight that leaf. And keep in mind, we're going to do this one more time. But it just gives you an idea. So, now we can go back and do the green. The good thing is, if you want to make it darker, you just take the fine tip of the marker, which is what I'm going to show you. When you want to do that, we're going to do the stamens first. I love the hibiscus flower. They're so pretty. And then the strawberry slush. And I always use the marker coloring in a circular motion. It's been a while since I've colored on stamps. But I mean, this is the way it was a long time ago. There was no such thing as getting ink pads. It was a big pad with a solid color like black. Or brown. Or blue. And you used to use the Marvy markers. I don't know if you remember that, B. That's before I was ever with Stampin' Up. Hey, Lonnie. Welcome. She lives in Oregon. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and stamp this right there. Count to 5. And you see how the stamen didn't stand out? So this is where we're going to take the fine tip of the marker and we're just going to highlight it. And it'll bring it right to a T. And then if you wanted to, you could take the fine tip of the strawberry slush and just highlight to make it look like it's watercolored. Don't have to do the whole thing. And I'm going to do the same thing for the green. But this makes it easy, and this makes it affordable for people who are starting to craft and don't have all the tools. This way that they're able to get a little bit here and there. Fine tip. This is fine tip. This is brush. Just highlighting that one edge, and this one got a little bit of the strawberry slush. There we go. And that's that. So now we're ready to mount this onto this. Okay? So we're just going to take the wet glue. And I use this because it makes it very easy to get it in place without having to worry about pulling it up, especially when you're trying to center it. And you really don't have to put any in the center when you go all the way around the frame. Try to stay away from your outside edges because it will seep out. And we're just going to slide this into place and get that centered best as possible. So, thank you for joining in, Lonnie. My top picture is frozen. I tried to fix it and it kept going to the product area, so. Anyway, so we're going to flip this over. We're going to add some dimensionals. This always gives it depth. You always use your outside pieces as well. Oops, that one went flying. There's that one. And that one. And then I'll use this small one in the corner, in the center there. Move that out of the way. Then indent. Helps pull it up. These peel off very easy too. These are like double stick foam pieces. Alright, and then we're going to pick this up. Now, if you wanted to, I'm going to tilt this one. And then, of course, we're going to add a rhinestone. One small one. You can use more than that. But I'm going to put it right in the center of that flower. So there is that one. So, Lonnie, you can go back and watch the replay later. This is the one we made first. And I'm using the new in color. So there's those two. Now, let's go to the third one. So, This is 4 1/4 by 11. This is a thick white cardstock. I'm going to fold this in half. Now see, I got a crease on the back side on that. So I'm going to flip it over to the back side. But it really wouldn't matter because we're mounting a piece on top of it. So, and you're just going to press. Then you can use a bone folder if you have one. If not, you can use your fingers just like I showed. Then you do want a piece of just the regular white, 4 by 5 1/4. It makes it easier to line up pieces. Now, I cut a piece of the cloud cover at 4 by 5 1/4. And I laid it in a cutter and put it on a diagonal and cut it in half. But then I also did the same thing with the strawberry slush. So, and these two pieces match up perfectly. Just like that. So what we're going to do on that, we're going to go ahead and stamp a background using that same flower with the Versamark. And you're just going to start at the top. Hold your paper in place. I'm just going to go across. Sometimes it wants to move because the Versamark is very sticky. It's like a watermark pad. Okay. Keep on. I should have put a little bit of adhesive on the back, but I didn't want to. But there we go. And I'm coming back across. And I'm going to have to stamp right here on the edge because it's not got anything. Then at the bottom, I'm going to turn it and then do this one. So that will all come apart. It will all show up. As it dries, it gets darker. Now I'll move this out of my way. And then let those set, and I'll show you those in just a second. On this one, this is measured at, the secret C is 2 3/4 by 2 1/2. That means that this is 2 1/4 by 2 1/2 of the basic white. Okay, so we did that one. So this one's going to be a just a note. Okay, so we want it vertical. And we want to put just a note at the top. So I'm going to use the secret C. When you open a pad, you just pull it straight up, slide it to you. Since this hasn't been inked up the first time, I'm going to ink it up first and prime it. And I got ink on there already. On my hands, of course. Okay, and we're going to stamp that at the top. There we go. And we're going to do my chamois right here. Clean this off. All done. There we go. And do the same thing for the sending warm wishes. All right, move that out of the way. So, on this can be water splash, raindrops, but we are going to make it a leaf. What did I do with my flower? Oh, the sun we used earlier. We're going to make that a flower. So I'll show you. So we're going to go ahead and highlight that with the strawberry slush. Okay, I'm going to ink it up first. You always want to use the side of the brush, never the tip, because it'll just wear your tips out. Okay, we're done with that. Now I want to add a little bit of a color variation. So I'm going to add a little bit of the timid tiger in the center. Then just drag that to clean that off. And then we're going to go ahead and stamp that. Count to 5. There we go. Now, this is where we can take the marker and you just draw it in and you can make the flower. You don't have to worry about being precise. You're not going to see that white line in the center. We're going to close this in. A lot of people say, I have the markers and I haven't used them in so long. Should I go ahead and get rid of them? And I go, no. I'll show you what to do with them. They have really come far of enhancing this tip, this writer's tip, compared to what they used to be like. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to bring in the timid tiger and we're going to color that flower in. There we go. Now, I brought in Mossy Meadow, Bee's favorite color. Oh, you're so welcome, Lonnie. Not a problem. Let me close up. Always close up a pad. Never leave one open in front of you, because let me tell you what, accidents do happen. That is for sure. Okay, I'm going to prime that. Perfect. And I'm going to bring this in, and it's like a leaf. Bring that in. The benefit of photopolymer clear stamps, you can see right where to place it. And then we'll put a nice round jewel right in the center of that. Okay, so I'll let those dry. So now you can see the images on the paper. See how the watermark, the Versamark shows up like a watermark? Okay, so the easiest way of doing this, I'm going to show you, is take your glue, put a frame around. Try not to have a thick line, just a thin line, because you can always spread it if you get too thick. And then I'm going to do a plus sign like that. And then you one dot, one dot, one dot, one dot. That's all you need. Now, we're going to bring the blue in to the corner. This is why it's important to have an extra piece of paper cut the same size, because it's easy to line it up. And we're just going to line that up. Then you bring this piece in and line it up with that one. Just like that. And then I usually turn it over and press on it. I'm not perfect. You see I have a little bit hanging over, but it doesn't matter. It's going onto a white base. So never stress about having it exact. Art is not supposed to be perfect. Okay. Now, we're going to have the blue sky at the top and the pink at the bottom. Let's go ahead and get this mounted. There we go. So if you use this glue, always leave it horizontal. You don't have to screw the lid back on, but just leave it laying. Okay, I almost put that on wrong. Okay, there we go. There's that. Now we're ready to mount this one. See, it doesn't look like a sun, it looks like a flower, right? Always try to think out of the box. Don't think that stamp is used only for one thing. They can always be used for a lot of different things. Now I'll share some pictures of the little tote bags that you can make with the dies that goes with this step set. But I have a lot of people who do not have a die cutting machine yet. So that's the reason why I just wanted to show the stamp set, because of the versatility of it. Okay, and it worked great with the in colors. So now we're ready to do this one. And this one I am going to center it. And we're going to add some jewels. Let me put the dimensionals on the back first. And we'll hit each corner. These are already pre-cut. Wonderful. I didn't realize I did it. Yep, I did cut them all. Alrighty. And then we always put one in the center. If it's just like a 1-inch square or a 1.5-inch square, you don't have to put it in the center. But when it goes to 2 inches or above, you want to put one in the center so it doesn't deep down in. There we go. And there's that. And I usually touch to see if they're sticky. If they're sticky, they're peeled off. And then we're just going to center to our best of our ability. There we go. And let's bring in these beautiful rhinestone jewels. Who doesn't love bling? I love bling on the card. So I'm using the largest rhinestone and putting in the center of the flower. And then I'm going to take 2 small ones and scatter them. Always do in odd numbers. There we go. Odd. It could be 3, 5. I usually just use 3. Anyways, if it was a larger card, it'd be a different story. So there's that one. So let's bring them all back in. There's the third one. There's the second one. And there's the first one. Let me do it this way. That way they'll be all in the picture. There's number 1, number 2, number 3. All using the end colors. All done almost in the same type of layout design. But just done in a different way. So hope you've enjoyed this. And to reach out to your personal demonstrator. And I hope you've enjoyed this. And next week, I'm going to use the turtle set. So that will be a fun set. I got the whole suite, the paper and everything. I just love it. So I can't wait to create with it. But thank you for joining. I'll be back here next Monday. Reach out, share to your friends. I don't advertise on my actual thing because that way people, my downline can share with their people. So, but when I put it on YouTube, that's where I put my business information. My people know how to get a hold of me. But thank you for joining in. Have a wonderful evening. Take care.